So I think there's lots of different things. The first obvious one is the renminbi. Like I said, I think that the policymakers, they're cranking up the equities now, but they don't want it to come at the expense of the renminbi. So if the renminbi broke through to new lows, all bets would be off, because then they would tighten policy again. So that's, that'd be my number one concern. And, first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I check the RMB price. And so that'd be number one. Number two, I think, one major concern, of course, has to be how the U.S. looks at its relationship with China post election. So that's number one. And here, there's fairly little visibility. I think the market is pricing in way too aggressive with Trump, and I think Trump will end up doing what he often does: is talk really loudly and then sign a deal, and the markets will rally really hard on the deal. So initially, while Trump, is negotiating the deal, China may struggle because he'll be bashing China and saying all sorts of horrible things in the media. I don't think he'll call the Chinese rapists, but like he did to the Mexicans, he might to the Mexicans. But so that's got to be a concern. And I would say, my bigger concern, I don't think the odds of that are very high, but then there's another possibility out there that, Kamala Harris wins the presidency and the House stays Republican. And if you end up with that scenario, then the Republicans, when there's a Democrats in the White House, the Republicans remember that they are the party of fiscal rectitude. And they cut the spending for the U.S. government, and then at that point you might get a dollar rally, a U.S. Treasury rally, and all the money in the world will go back to Microsoft, because the dollar goes up. It always goes to Microsoft, but even more so. So those are the things that I do worry about. And
it doesn't sound like you're particularly worried.
No, I'm not particularly worried. But, you always have to the point of the question, you always have to think, this is what I believe, this is what I think is happening. How could I be wrong, right? It's a completely normal thing to do. So this is how I think it could be wrong, but it's not, I don't put massive odds on it.